Hello, Falcon fan. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. And our Atlanta Falcons just keep making moves to this roster. We're going to talk about the addition of bringing in veteran cornerback Tre Flowers today, guys. So if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like hear that I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in here and we talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So guys, like I said, Atlanta Falcons have signed veteran cornerback Tre Flowers to a 1-year deal, bringing in, adding more depth to that cornerback room. They brought in Tre Flowers actually before the draft early in the offseason. I guess he was waiting, filling out, other opportunities out there, but decided to come back to the Falcons, and they brought him in, adding another veteran cornerback to this roster. Actually played with our free safety J.C. Bates III last year, Super Bowl. So he actually had played in the Super Bowl in recent years. He was drafted 5th round by the Seattle Seahawks in 2018. Actually got 41 career starts with the Seahawks. 262 tackles, 4 interceptions, 20 PPUs, and 5 forced fumbles. So a lot of experience here. Has not started a lot since those times. He was actually let go from the Seattle Seahawks, and actually, like I said, signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. Did not start a game for the Cincinnati Bengals. They actually used him more in a bringing him in, playing the big nickel, playing safeties, going up against tight ends, and he has had a major role on special teams as well. So another depth piece coming in for the Atlanta Falcons. We already know that cornerback room is really crowded. It's going to be interesting to see bringing the guy in, and it tells you one thing, that the Falcons are really serious about competing for not only the division but for the NFC playoff position this year coming in 2023. Despite what everybody keeps saying about the quarterback position and things like that, the Falcons believe in this team, and you can see in the investments they're making on the defensive side of the ball, bringing in another cornerback, the veteran. And the word that I have that I really want to emphasize going into this off-season workouts, this OTAs, mini camp, and training camps, is that competition. Competition is really going to be fierce this off-season for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, just bringing in a guy like Tre Flowers, you guys like Darren Hall, guys like D. Alford, guys like Cornell Armstrong, guys that was on the fringe that was trying to make a position. Even guys like the other guy, Mike Hughes, just brought in. Even though they signed him to a 2-year deal, he still got to go out and compete. I mean, they brought in cornerback Clark Phillips III in the draft. So they let you know that they're really serious about fixing the back end of the defense in the secondary, and nobody's job is safe. You probably can pencil in 2 starters right now in the cornerback position, and that's AJ Terrell, of course, and probably Jeff Okudah. But even Jeff Okudah, considering his fall from grace, of course, being the number 3 overall pick, and now coming in and playing on a contract right now, is really where he needs to prove himself as well. I still feel like he's going to be their number 2 cornerback, but the competition that the Atlanta Falcons line up in that defensive backfield is really fierce. And when we start doing roster projections, because I'm gonna do mine closer to the training camp. I do one right before training camp, then of course right after we watch some preseason games, I'll do my final 53-man roster projection. But the depth across the board, especially on the defense side of the ball, is really good. I mean, if you're looking at it from outside looking in, you got guys that can go in some positions 3 deep in the defensive room. So that's what you like to see from the Atlanta Falcons standpoint, and it really makes the coaching staff job harder, because they got to be able to pick the best 53-man on the roster. And you don't want to release guys, because you can release some guys and say we'll just bring them back on the practice squad, then they'll get poached by other teams, because you're releasing quality players that could definitely help your team if if an injury goes down. So they got to really be strategic about the guys that they pick. They got a mix of veteran guys and young guys, but you don't want to bring in too many, savvy veterans and lose all your young talent as well. So they really got to be really smart about the competition. But at the end of the day, you're going to put the best players out there on the court. On the field, instead of the court. On the field to make sure that they're successful. But this is another signing, and are the Falcons done yet? I think right now they have exactly 90 man roster. So unless they decide to actually go out and cut somebody and bring somebody else in, Falcons could be considered done at this point. Not 100% sure, but guys, let me know what you think about Tre Flowers coming in, another veteran cornerback who can maybe play a different role, because if they put him in that big nickel spot, that alleviates some of the guys like Richard Grant playing big tight ends because of Tre Flowers' size. The 6'2" guy can actually match up with bigger tight ends in that slot a little bit better than a guy like Richard Grant. Another guy that had a little trouble last year was Troy Anderson, who has all the athletic abilities, but a guy like him as well need to work on his covering skills. Maybe he don't have to, go against those tight ends as well. Bringing a guy in like Tre Flowers, who was utilized a lot like that with the Cincinnati Bengals in the last couple of years, is definitely something that the Atlanta Falcons might be able to do as well. And like I said, he played with Jesse Bates, so some familiarity there with another teammate coming from the Cincinnati Bengals, along with their defensive back coach. So this is right here is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see the competition, and I'm gonna be honest with you, our offense is going to be really tested in training camp this year because of the depth on the defensive side of the ball. That defensive line, those edge rushers we got, the defensive backfield. Desmond Ritter's really going to get some good quality work. Him and Taylor Heineke during training camp. And the old saying, iron sharpen irons. That's what we really need to see. Our young offensive linemen, Matthew Bergeron, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry, Jake Matthews, going to get a lot of good work in as well. We're going to get to see the matchups with our linebackers on guys like Bijan Robinson's, and of course Kyle Pitts and things like that. Can't wait to see the matchup between Clark Phillips going up against Drake London and Mac Hollins, two big body wide receivers, type like a guy like Evans down in Tampa, to get him that work. So you love to see things like that. Of course, the Falcons probably do some more joint practices like they did in the last season. I think that's good for our team to go up against other opponents during training camp. We know Dan Quinn kind of did not like doing that a lot with the teams that he had, but Arthur Smith really loves going against another opponent in training camp. I think it's good because instead of beating up on your own team, you go out and see what you got against another quality team that you're going to be playing in that preseason game. So, but competition is the name of the game this offseason. They keep mentioning that, and it's going to be some guys, believe it or not, some draftees, maybe even some draft guys that Atlanta Falcons have drafted in the last couple of years that might not make the roster. Guys like Okendeji, if he don't show up this offseason because that room is so deep. Guys like Jalen Mayfield might not make the roster. Look at a guy like Frank Darby, who's been on and off the roster for the last 2 seasons. Could this be his last time? Because that receiver room, yes, it's still young, but they brought in a lot of good talent guys to compete. May not keep that many receivers on the roster this year. They might only have 5, so it's a lot of competition going around. We're going to get into it more when we get closer to training camp, but making moves like this, just let everybody know and give us an idea of how serious the Falcons are about making sure that they have the depth and the competition and putting the best team out on the field this year in 2023. So guys, let me know what you think about the signing of Tre Flowers, what that mean for guys like Darren Hall, Cordell Armstrong, D. Alford on that back end or that cornerback room. And this is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.